but anyway, comparison operators is just about checking if X or Y is bigger. And it also it's an important factor for stopping some of the loops. Quite often, it's a common error when you start when you keep on coding for a long time that suddenly the code crashes and you don't know what happened and everything is hung up. And the problem is the loop never ended. Thankfully, modern compilers detect that the loop is never ending. So they're gonna tell you that it got stuck or something. So that's why we need comparison operators, and we need to be able to use them quite well so that we know which one to put, not to make this infinite loops for different reasons. One of the most important is the quality operator. We can print, for example, true compared with another value, true. And what it's going to give us, it's going to give us a Boolean as well, which is going to say true. So basically, double equality, I mean, the double 2 times equal sign is going to be starting to compare. And it's also a common error when you're coding that you want to compare 2 values and you forgot to put the second equal sign, and that is a bit troublesome then. But in the end, with all this troubleshooting text, you manage to find it. Is true. And there we go. This way, it's going to be more readable. And so on, we can check is true equal to false. Obviously, it's not going to be equal. But if we check if false is equal to false, obviously, it is going to be true for a change, because it's just comparing if it's the same data. But there are some issues with different type of variables. For example, we have a 1 to 3 string. I'm not sure if it's in Python, but if you compare it to 1 to 3, it might still tell you true. But thankfully, in Python, it doesn't say true. But in some other programming languages, one might, in JavaScript, one might have to add another equality. That's all JavaScript only. That will explicitly check if it's even the same data type. Python is already having that fixed, so this one is also going to be false. So that makes things a bit simpler. And not equal. That's gets a bit tricky once you get to work with a lot of these operators. It's false, not equal, false. Obviously, it's false. But if we go with this one, it's true, not equal, false, and it is true. It is true that true is not the same value as false. But we can also use numbers for that. We don't have to use booleans. It's 0, not equal, 11. And it's also going to be true. So this equal, not equal, I think it should be quite straight out, but this not equal might be a bit confusing if you use like several not combinations. It's a bit of a logical puzzle, can get and become one. So just the important part is just take it step at a time and go at all your code one by one. It's like all the advanced mechanisms are made out of lots of simple ones. So don't overcomplicate. Try to look at the small pieces first. And the other operators, you surely know it. Greater, less, greater, equal, and less than equal. So it's when making some different type of loops, it is 5 greater than 5. Obviously, it's not true. But if we type is 5 greater or equal, it is, because it is also giving this possibility of these numbers being equal thanks to this sign, greater or equal. And if it's smaller and smaller or equal, it's going to be similar. I'm not going to go over that one. If we have some examples later on, maybe then we'll spend some more time. But anyway, over here in this link I gave you, you have all these operands, you have some examples. Yeah, it should be quite good. Over here I see there is one command used. The command called len. And what it's doing is checking the length of a given item, and mostly it would work for strings. We type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so for convenience sake, because now we know it's the length of 5. So if we print what is the length of string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with colon I end that string, and if I play it, I overdid it. Okay, here is the problem. I used single quotation for starting the string, and over here I used also a single quotation, and one shouldn't do that, because if you want the string to be started here and ending here in the middle, you should not use single quotations at all. So that's why you can use double quotations. And the other way around it works as well. You can use double quotation over here. You can use it over here. And just go with single quotations inside. And it's also no problem. As long as the string starts with one type of quotation and it ends with the same one, then it's fine. So what is the length of string? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can see it is indeed 5. But also, as I remember, this length comment works for lists. We had some list here. It was called list. Oh, let's call list 2. It's going to be more interesting. So the length of list 2, and it's going to be saying it's 4 because it got 4 items in it. 1, 2, 3rd, and 4th item. Even though these items are quite long, it's a long string, but it's just checking the number of elements inside the list, nothing else. And it's checking, obviously, the length of a given string, if you give it a string. You can also check, before we did make a string called text. And it had length about 10. Some words I wrote in it, if you remember. So if we count it, it's 4 or 5, and if another 5 there. What did I do? So it checks out. Continuing on.